Friends and viewer, good day. This is the novel of Gustave Flaubert in my hand. The name of this is Madame Bovary. It is a very famous French literature, well known throughout the world. Madame Bovary, written by Gustave Flaubert, and about this novel, once Henry James said, one of the first of the classic. This is the comments of Henry James, the great. So, Madame Bovary begins when Charles Bovary is a young boy. Charles Bovary, the husband of Madame Bovary. As a young boy, the writer tells us about the youth of Charles Bovary, unable to fit in his new school and is ridiculed by his new classmates. As a child and later when he grows into a young man, Charles is mediocre and dull. He fails his first medical exam and only barely manages to become a second-rate country doctor. His mother marries him off to a widow who dies soon afterward, and leaving Charles much less money than he expected. So Charles soon falls in love with Emma, the daughter of his patient, and the two decides to marry. After an elaborate wedding, they set up house in Tastis, where Charles has his practice. But marriage doesn't live up to Emma's romantic expectations. Ever since she lived in a convent as a young girl, she has dreamed of love. She's a very romantic and a very idealistic woman. So she dreamed of love and marriage as a solution to all her problems. After she attends an extravagant ball at the home of a wealthy nobleman, she begins to dream constantly of a more sophisticated life. She grows bored and depressed when she compares her fantasies to the humdrum reality of a village life, and eventually her listlessness makes her ill. When Emma becomes pregnant, Charles decided to move to a different town in hopes of reviving her health. So what happened in a new town of Yonville? Bovary's meet Homes, the town pharmacist, a pompous windbag who loves to hear himself only and speak. Emma also meets Leon, a law clerk. With her, is bored with a rural life and loves to escape through romantic novels. When Emma gives birth to her daughter Bertie, motherhood disappoints her. She had a desired son, and she continues to be deep despondent. Romantic feeling blossom between Emma and Leon. However, when Emma realizes that Leon loves her, she feels guilty and throws herself into the role of a dutiful wife. Leon grows tired of waiting and believing that he can never possess Emma. Departs to study law in Paris. His departure makes Emma miserable. Soon at an agriculture fair, a wealthy neighbor named Rodolphe, who is attracted by Emma's beauty, declares his love to her. He seduces her, and they begin having a passionate affair. Emma is often indiscreet, and the town people all gossip about her. Charles, however, suspects nothing. His adoration for his wife and his stupidity combine to blind him to her indiscretions. His professional reputation, meanwhile, suffers a severe blow when he and Holmes attempt an experiment surgical technique to treat a clubfoot man named Hippolyte and end up having call another doctor to amputate the leg. Disgusted with her husband's incompetence, Emma throws herself even more passionately into her affair with Rodolphe. She borrows money to buy him gifts and suggests they run off together and take little Bertie with them. Soon, though she jaded and worldly, Rodolphe has grown bored of Emma, demanding affection. Refusing to elope with her, he leaves her heartbroken. Emma grows desperately ill and nearly dies. By the time Emma recovers, Charles is in financial trouble, her husband, from having to borrow money to pay off Emma's debts and to pay for her treatment. Still, he decides to take Emma to the opera in the nearby town of Rion. There they encountered Leon. Now another love story starts, love affair of is another lover, Leon. The meeting rekindles old romantic flame between Emma and Leon, and this time the two embark on a love affair. As Emma continues to sneak off to Rion to meet Leon, she also grows deeper and deeper in debt to the moneylender, Leroux, who lends her more and more money at exaggerated interest rate. She grows increasingly careless in conducting affair with Leon. As a result, on several occasions, her acquaintances nearly discover her infidelity. Over time, Emma grows bored with Leon, not knowing how to abandon him. She instead becomes increasingly demanding. Meanwhile, her debts mount daily. Eventually, Leroux orders the seizure of Emma's property to compensate for the debt she has accumulated. Terrified of Charles finding out, she frantically tries to raise the money but she needs, appealing to Leon and all other town business. Eventually, she even attempts to prostitution herself by offering to get back together with Rodolphe if he will give her the money she needs. He refuses, and driven to despair, she commits suicide. By eating arsenic, she dies in horrible agony. Now, what happened after her death? This poor Charles, for a while, idealized the memory of his wife. Eventually, though he finds her letter from the cupboard, Rodolphe and Leon, and is forced to confront the truth. He dies alone in his garden, and Bertie is sent off to work in a cotton mill. So this is the tragic end of Emma Bovary, Madame Bovary. So, ladies and gentlemen, the title of this book is Madame Bovary, author Gustave Flaubert. So the type of work this is a novel, a realistic fiction, language is French, it is translated in English. So time and place written, Crozet, France, 1851 to 1857. First date of publication is 57. Publisher published in Paris. Point. So tone Flaubert attitude toward his story and his heroine is evenly divided between sympathy and ironic contempt. We know that he identifies strongly with his heroine because he once said, Madame Bovary is me. His sympathy for her is evident in the way he describes her passion. So, setting place of this novel is France, town of Tostes, Yonville, and Rion. Emma Bovary, the protagonist and the heroine of this novel, major conflict. Emma wishes to romantic love, wealth, and social status. She cannot attain because she is married to a middle-class doctor. Rising action, Emma begins borrowing money to pay for gift for her lover, Rodolphe. When he leaves her, she falls ill, and her husband, Charles, borrows even more money to pay for her care. Emma must now borrow more and more to pay off her debts and indulge in her extravagant tastes. She takes a second lover, Leon, but is soon grows tired of her. Climax of this novel is when Emma, primary creditor Lerox, insists that she pay him back and obtains a court order to seize all her property. Following action, the drive into despair, Emma seeks financial help everywhere but cannot find none. She eats a handful of arsenic, poison, and dies. After Emma's death, Charles loses everything. He finds out about his wife's infidelities and dies a broken man. Emma's daughter Bertie is sent to work in a cotton mill. So this is the tragic fall and the motive of novel: death, illness, windows eating, symbol of. So these are the key facts of this novel, and I think we should go towards the character now. Which characters are involved in this novel? Ladies and gentlemen, I will try to tell you the character involved in this novel is. So, Emma Bovary, the protagonist, the heroine, Madame Bovary of the title, country girl educated in convent and married to Charles Bovary. At a young age, she harbored idealistic romantic illusion, covet sophistication, sensuality and passion, lapse into fits of extreme boredom and depression when her life fails to match the sentimental novels she treasures. She has a daughter, Bertie, but lacks material instinct and is often annoyed with the child. Occasionally, guilt or memory of her simple childhood causes her to repent, and she becomes devotedly religious, dedicates it to the husband. Such fits of conscience are short-lived. Emma's desire for passion and pleasure leads her into extramarital affair. Now, Charles Bovary, a country doctor, her husband, kind but simple, dull and remarkable. Charles is terrible doctor who manages simple cases decently, but is incapable of performing difficult operations. For example, we can do wrong on his mother holds. Charles loves his wife dearly, and on every